New management of the Fulton County Animal Shelter insists all dogs are treated equally.
But some current and former employees tell a different story of a dangerous love unleashed. Our team reporter Randy Travis is here now with his special report. Randy?
Russ, Amanda, the American Pit Bull Terrier is probably the most misunderstood breed today. In good, loving hands, they can be really good, loving pets. We found the new shelter director making questionable decisions, not just with the shelter pit bulls, but with her own. August 29th, 2008. A pit bull named Chico breaks his chain and attacks 5 children waiting for the school bus. All 5 go to the hospital. An APD cop is forced to shoot the dog. But vicious dog charges against the owner mysteriously disappear. One of many curious moves the I-team discovered connected to the new director of the Fulton County Animal Shelter.
That's ridiculous.
Gere Alexander took control of the shelter in March after county commissioners awarded the management contract to Barking Hound Village Foundation. An attorney by trade, Ms. Alexander had never run a shelter before, but she arrived with experience of a different sort. She has studied, built a website, and written extensively about pit bulls and dog fighting.
I am a pit bull expert. I know a great deal about this breed, and I think that knowledge only betters my ability to manage this particular shelter with such a highly pit bull, dense demographic. I think it's a huge advantage.
They sure get their share of pit bulls here, as much as 75% on some days. But former employees say the new pit bull expert intentionally looked the other way when her favorite breed went on the attack. What kind of dog did this to you?
Pit bull.
In the animal shelter?
Mm-hmm.
Miles Swain worked at the Fulton County Animal Shelter for 27 years, until Ms. Alexander fired him this summer over a dog that was mistakenly euthanized. He insists he wasn't to blame. However, she says as kennel manager, he was ultimately responsible. To relieve crowded conditions, each day Mr. Swain had to compile a list of dogs to be put to sleep. But when Ms. Alexander took over, he says she would routinely scratch dogs from the list. Pit bulls.
The ones that showed the most aggression were the ones that they were more diligent in wanting to keep. A lot of them stayed there for several months in their pens, just day in and day out, because there's really nothing you can do with them.
Even the pit bull that tore up his hand was not euthanized right away.
Day 2, I put it on the list. She scratched it off. Day 3, I put it on the list. She scratched it off. Then that following morning after day 3, I put it back on the list the 4th day, and there was a memo on there that came up that said, possible adopter, do not euthanize.
Do you favor pit bulls over other breeds here?
Absolutely not. Breed does not play a factor in our decision to euthanize or not euthanize. It wasn't necessarily clear which dog bit Miles. There were some conflicting accounts, and we want to take it very seriously before we automatically euthanize a dog.
Mr. Swain says there was no confusion. The dog was never adopted and eventually put down 1 week after the attack.
You really have to admire her obsession about the pit bulls, but being the director of the shelter, you need to have that agenda and work with caring about all the animals.
But what level of care does she take with her personal animals? Ms. Alexander lives with her husband Rocky on this heavily wooded property in DeKalb County. It's against the law in DeKalb to chain your dog, yet that's exactly what we saw from the air on 2 different days. We also received this amateur videotape, shot on a 3rd day by someone who asked us not to disclose their name. The video shows more pit bulls on Ms. Alexander's property, again, chained to the ground.
And you know that it's against the law to chain dogs in DeKalb County.
Right.
Why would you do that?
I mean, there are times when a dog can be on a tether for exercise purposes while a kennel is being cleaned out or something along those lines.
That's not true. DeKalb law plainly states tethering of an animal is prohibited. Owners are allowed to tie them to a running cable, like this dog, giving them the ability to move freely. We saw none of Ms. Alexander's dogs on a running cable. Then there's that pit bull attack in southeast Atlanta last August.
It was unbelievable. The kids were hurt. They had deep puncture wounds, one in the chest, some of the girls on the legs.
That same day, Fulton County Animal Services issued subpoenas to the parents of the 5 injured children, asking them and the dog owner to appear in court for a vicious dog case. The next month, Patrick Cotton's wife headed downtown, but couldn't find the case.
She called me and she stated, we're not even on the docket. I just wasted a whole day of work for nothing.
The I-team could find no record of the vicious dog tickets either. But we did obtain this, an email from Shelter Director Gere